I can do.
There we go.
Right. Okay.
Sorry.
So this is the club Dropbox, and like I say, because it's so big, we don't want it all on our computer. We just want the bit that that we share. So I share certain parts of it with people. So I've created this folder at the top level, which is called Publish to Website. And I've shared that folder with just 4 of us at the moment. So Jonathan and us 3. And because I've shared that, now I'm obviously running Windows. I'm not running the Mac, but I can show you on the Mac. So this is my Dropbox, which got a lot of things in it, but you'll notice that Publish to Website appears in my local folder now.
Yeah.
All right. I also share some other things. So I share this folder, competitions, which is shared between myself and Phil Shaw whenever he appears, because this has all the competition information there. And so if I need Andy Dawson to step in for me, or Richard Ryder or Phil, then they can get at all the stuff, all the latest competitions. Yeah. So that also appears in my Dropbox. Yeah.
Yeah.
You follow that?
Yeah.
Yep.
And for the selection committee, I put all the highest scores. Yeah. Again, that also appears in my Dropbox.
Uh-huh.
So selection committee. Yeah. So the nice thing about having these local folders is you can treat them just like any other folder or file on your file system. You just need to be a bit careful with Dropbox. If you drag something out, you will remove it from Dropbox. Yeah. So what you always have to do is copy it and paste it. You must never drag it out of Dropbox, because if you drag it out of Dropbox, it goes for everybody. You'll notice it will disappear on your machine and go to where you dragged it to, but that will be the same for everybody. Now with these shared folders, all the people that have access to these folders get to see the same thing. And you can actually control whether people can edit it or whether they can just view it. But for the purposes of what we're talking about at the moment, we can all edit it. Yeah. So I've set this folder up. And this is really an experiment, yeah. Because what I've done is I've gone to our website and I've put this thing on there. And this menu item opens up that folder in a browser. So there is that document.
So at the moment, the only people that can access that are us, because you shared the folder with us.
No, we have write access to that folder on our local machines.
Right, but
anyone who logs in to the Camera Club can do it. So
okay.
So what we can do now is we've got programs. Supposing I create a new folder in here, I'll call it important documents. Now I know that in the repository somewhere or the other, under documentation, we've got competition rules. And this is the last competition rules document. So if I do a copy on there, I've got 2 ways of doing this. I can either download it straight to that folder on my local machine, or I can work within Dropbox itself. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the work within Dropbox myself. So I'm going to copy it. And so I'm going to copy it into published into website, important documents. So the Dropbox server should have now popped that into my local folder, yeah, which it has done.
Right.
Hopefully, if we go back a level, back into here, if we now come into here, publish documents, we should now have a folder called important documents with the competition rules, right? So all we had to do, was just copy it onto our local machine in the right place, and we didn't have to do anything to the website.
Okay.
Have you got it?
Yeah.
So essentially anything that goes into the publish to website folder
Yeah.
is accessible from the website.
Yeah.
Because that was the bit I didn't know. Once I'd done anything, I didn't know where to put it in Dropbox
Exactly.
to make it public.
So what we want to do, we want to, you know, I think what we need to do is keep the master documents, the doc documents or the ODT documents or whatever they are. And Mike, I don't know if you're aware, but with OpenOffice, you can save things in Word format, which might be useful for other people that don't have OpenOffice. But anyway, you know.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I think it works pretty well. So we've got like AGM documents, haven't we? So so we could do the same thing. So I could go back to the local folder. I could create a folder in here. AGM documents. I'll do it the other way around this time. So I do it the alternate way. So these are the final meetings at the AGM. So let me download that. You won't be able to read that because it's a very high res screen and Chrome's got a bug in it, but I shall navigate to the folder on my other screen where I can read it. Publish the website, AGM documents. Trust me that I've now navigated to that folder and I'm now going to press save. When I press save, Dropbox does its magic. My my computer has gone to the Dropbox server, notice there's a changed document and it's made a copy of it onto my local machine. So now if we go back into the website, we should now have 3 folders. And then we've got the final minutes for the PDF. And if we click on that, we get that.
Right. So you've picked that up from Dropbox and you've downloaded that onto our website.
Well, no, I haven't. That's not exactly what I haven't done. What I've done is I've taken it from the club website, Dropbox,
Right.
the club Dropbox.
Yeah.
I put it into that special folder.
Yeah.
That will appear on all of our machines in that folder there, because it was already in the club. I mean, this is all, you know, these are all shared by the.
Yeah.
So what I've done is I've set the website up so that when you click on here, it takes you into Dropbox web interface and shows you them. But you can only, you know, you can download them. Now I'm actually logged in at the moment into Dropbox. If I log out, which if the user doesn't have Dropbox, just bear with me a minute. The user doesn't have Dropbox, they see a slightly different. They see this, yeah. It's the same thing, but you don't have all the ability to do anything with it because then they don't have Dropbox, and so they just see this. Okay, they get asked to sign in, but they don't have to, and they can read it and everything else.
Right.
Okay.
So it's all in the club Dropbox, but we've just put it in a special place in the club Dropbox, which we have local to our computers, which means that we can just copy a document in or create a folder, then it instantly appears on the website. So what I'd like to do really is, sorry, let's go back into the right browser. What I'd like to do is to get rid of all of these things here, and really just have it all as folders within Dropbox.
Okay, so essentially people will go in, click on publish documents,
Yeah,
and there will be a whole array of
yeah
Dropbox folders that they then click on, and
Well, that makes sense.
because the other
Yeah.
way of doing it, you see, the other way of doing it, which is the way we used to do it, is you used to have to go in here and edit a page.
oh, I had such trouble trying to do that.
Yeah. So you come in here, edit a page, and then what you have to do is you have to type in a bit of text, and then you have to sort of highlight it, and then you have to get a link, and then you have to go into Dropbox and get a link to the document. Create a link, yeah, and then copy the link, and then you paste that back in, and it's a real pain, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
it takes forever. So I thought if we did it this way, then once we've got all of these documents organized the way we want them to be organized, we can get rid of all of this stuff. Yeah. So we're still and what I could do is I could get rid of this as a separate thing here, and just when you click on here, it would just take you into here basically. So you'd see the different folders, and you can see the different documents.
So any Camera Club member can go into that on the website and then see any of the documents, but can do nothing to them.
That's correct. But
Okay.
obviously
Certain people have right.
Yeah. You and I still can. If I was signed in again.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't like that, did it? If I'm signed in as me, I still have rights to that folder. So actually I can still go in here and do things to that folder, in the same way that I can do when I'm signed in as Chichester Camera Club in the Chichester Camera Club Dropbox in the other browser.
Yeah.
So that, we will see a slightly different view to this than everybody else does. So you just have to remember that. So they won't get all of this stuff. They'll just get like, a series of,
series of folders which they can open.
That's it, and files in it. So I thought if we use Dropbox in this way, it would just make our life a lot easier.
Definitely.
Okay, so then you would allow excuse me, you can allow people to overwrite or edit.
Yeah. Which
is good. So that's exactly the question I asked earlier on. If I want to go into Dropbox and edit a particular document, and I do because the role guidance for treasurer and membership secretary has to be updated, so I can pull that out, update it, and then resave it at the next version.
Yeah. So what you do if you want to go into role guidance, I mean, you have to be logged in with the club Dropbox, in a different browser. That's what I always do. I run one browser, so I'm running Chrome in this one, and I'm running Firefox in the other one. Yeah. So I'm logged into this one as the club Dropbox. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm logged into the other one as my Dropbox. So
back again, to get into the club one, I can do the Mac Pass, and then find the password there, copy it into Dropbox, and it opens up the Chichester Camera Club one.
But what you want to do is have two browsers. Yeah, if you just use Safari, download Chrome. Yeah. And then
can't I do it in two different windows, but not with the same?
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Okay.
Right. So the reason you want to do it in 2 is because it will remember you. You know, you won't need to keep going into MacPath to do it. Every time you go into
Okay.
it will just remember who you are. So, you know, so if you say, I always use Chrome for the club one, I always use Firefox for my own one, you know, you use whatever you like. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay.
So what was the one you needed to do? The role guidance for
Treasurer.
treasurer. That
There
one.
it is.
Right. So what you
Yeah.
do is this is the 2015 one, right? So what you
Yeah.
do is you will download that. So you need to download that.
One up. Treasurer.
Sorry,
You're on.
I went to the wrong one.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, but you know, so
Okay.
you click on the one you want. Oh, I didn't want to open it. Bollocks.
Is that a technical term?
It is. I can probably download it over here somewhere if I can figure out how to do it. Let's go back to the other one. It's easier for me. So you click over here, you download it. So what you
Yeah.
have to do now is download it to somewhere useful. So what I'm going to do, sorry for this very small window, is I'm going to download it to a file I have on my disk for Chichester Camera Club, yeah, which is on my D drive in Windows. So I'll save it there. So I'll go into here. I'll open a browser window on my D drive. Go into where I've saved it, which is here. Yeah, you can see it there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the first thing you want to do basically is rename it. So that was the roll guns for the small print. Where's the roll guns for the treasure?
Well, it doesn't matter. It's the same issue if I have to download the treasurer one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm just surprised it hasn't appeared
Yeah.
up. I don't know where the hell I downloaded it to. Anyway, so what you do is you basically, what I would do is do a copy and paste, Control C and V as it is on Windows. Yeah. So that's my copy. I then rename it so that it's 2020. Yeah.
Yeah.
I must have downloaded the wrong one. I think must be. So then you
Yeah.
go in, make your edits. Right. Zzz. Yeah. Make any edits you want to make. So we change that to say 2020. Yeah. Sorry, it's taking a while. So that's that. You save that back. So you don't want to overwrite the one that you've downloaded, because you want to make sure it's a new version. Before you sort of come out of it, what you'd want to do is you'd want to save it as a PDF once you're happy with it.
Yeah.
So it's slightly different on your system, Mike, but it's, you know, it's the same idea. You save it as a PDF or
Yeah.
export it as a PDF. All right, we've got that. So then you go back into the into here, and you basically upload that file. Yeah. So you click on upload file.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that, but a window will come up. You navigate to where you want to go, upload the new version into here, and then all you have to do is you take the PDF, you copy that, you go into here. Now, this is a particular one that we probably wouldn't do because we don't really need the role guidance to go out to everybody. Yeah. So I'm just doing this as an example just to follow it through, but we wouldn't really put the role guidance on the website. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yeah.
So I would.
Okay, so we've now got both copies on there, or just the latest one?
Well, yeah, all I've put is the PDF copy on there. The published one is the PDF one, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't put the doc
What I'm
one.
saying is, have you kept the 2018 copy and the 2020 copy?
Well, yes,
Because
well, I haven't uploaded the 2020
No.
one because it's the wrong
Okay.
one. But no, I never get rid of an old one. I mean, there's no need. We've got
okay.
masses of storage,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we always
That gives us the history behind the document.
exactly.
exactly.
What changes made. Yeah.
So so always, and if we had two versions with the same year, I'd put 2018 V1, 2018 V2, and so on.
Yeah.
So that way we always do it. And then I would upload to here, which is the repository where we keep all our documentation. I'd upload the master document to there, but the PDF, the published one, you could upload that as well to here if you want, but really that needs to go into to wherever you're going to publish it. In the case of a role guidance, it's slightly different because you don't need to, you don't need a PDF for that. You can just send the doc to the person doing it. You could send them a PDF, but it will just clutter this up if you put PDFs in there. And you can generate a PDF anytime from the document. So my preference would be not to put PDFs in unless we're going to make them public for people. So what I'm going to do, I don't want that role guidance to appear on the website. Yeah. So I'm going back to publish to website now, and I'm just going to delete that whole folder. Yeah. And what that will do now is when I go back into the website, that won't be there anymore.
Well, that's given me a great deal. I'm going to have to shoot now because I'm going to get up to Guildford.
Yep. We don't buy anything. So you
thank
see
you
now
very
that folder's gone now. So I'm hoping this is going to be easy for us, much easier than having to fiddle about with the website every time we want to publish a document.
It certainly looks it. Now, just one thing before I go, because we've saved this talk, this Zoom talk, if I go onto Zoom, can I just get back into it?
No, I'll have to send a link to you.
Okay.
I'll send you a link. What I'll do is I'll have to, when I finish this, it will do a bit of processing on my PC, and then I'll upload it to the club YouTube site as a private video, and send you a link to it.
Okay. All right, brilliant. Sorry about that. I've got to scoot because I'm picking up the son.
Okay.
Scooting up to Guildford. Now I've got to be there at 11 o'clock. So
just before you go, Mike, just very quickly. I mean, obviously we can reorganize all of these things now, and we can, they're a right mess because it's been so difficult to edit them and keep them up to date. But now we can start thinking, well, what folders do I want? How do I want to organize it? And that's something that maybe you and Wendy just need to put some thought into.
Yeah, good. That's good.
I don't really need to get involved to that anymore. If you have any technical problems, you can ask me. But I mean, all I would say is just try, when you're using the club Dropbox in this Chichester repository documentation thing, just, you can move things around here and create things as you like, but just try and keep it sensible, really, what the folders are doing. These aren't perfect by any means. They've sort of come in an ad hoc manner, and you could rename these and move these around if you wanted, because you can rename folders in here. There's controls on here for renaming them if you want to rename them. If you want to move folders about, you can go into a file and you can move it or copy it around, so you can manage it in the same way. It's a bit more clumsy than just dragging it around in your local finder. But, you can get this right with all the masters, and then you can get the published one right as well. That's what I'm saying. Yes. But they don't have to be the same, because the way people look at them doesn't need to be the same way that's logical for us to store them. Do you see what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You might put a lot of things together for people to look at, which we keep separate in the club Dropbox. Yeah.
Okay, mate. That's good. I'll scoot now and I'll be in touch, Wendy.
Okay. Yeah, no problem, Mike. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, then.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay. Is there anything you need to chat about, Wendy, before we go? Or?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it was I'd noticed that. So there was two things. One is I've only ever logged into Dropbox as Chichester Camera Club.
Yeah.
And so I've always kept. I didn't realise that I essentially had access as Wendy Chalk. So that's a learning point.
Well, I mean, obviously, you must have signed into Dropbox some point in the past, did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you have to keep those two very separate, because if you ever were to put the club Dropbox onto your PC, it would fill up with however many megabytes or gigabytes of what you've got. You know,
I don't really use Dropbox at home, so it's almost been an entirely club thing for me. It was sort of something that I had, but I didn't particularly.
Yeah, you probably use the Mac equivalent, do you, or something? Or
no, I mean, I have never particularly needed to use it, to be honest. I did a little bit for work, but I don't work anymore now. So
I mainly use it for the club now. I mean,
yes.
I mean, I still run a company with a friend, well, a business partner of mine, and we use Google Drive Stream for that.
Right.
And
I've got another cloud backup for all my images.
There's Office 365 is another one, isn't it? That
yes, they use that at the college. I do a little bit of work at the college, and they do that. I used to sort of work Windows at work and Mac at home, and now I almost never use Windows, and I've sort of lost the ability to use a lot of the Windows stuff now, because I never have to use it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Dropbox runs on everything.
Yes, so, it does. You know. So Dropbox is fine. So I use Backblaze for all my images. That's a separate kind of backup thing, really.
Yeah.
But I have noticed that publish to website folder, and I didn't know whether by just essentially moving a document into there, whether that would automatically publish it or not. So I wanted to clarify that.
That was the idea. That, I mean, like I say, I mean, there's a number of ways we could have done this, and I thought, well, this is probably the simplest way that gives us what we want without getting too technical and having to search for plugins for the website and things like that.
I think it works. It's so simple. I think it's a really good idea. Good idea. I had a nightmare trying to load something onto the website the first time I tried it. I'm never quite sure if I did or not. So this is definitely the way forward. I think Dropbox works incredibly well, and I don't know why Mike Hancock had a thing against it, actually. It just, to me, seems incredibly straightforward. I've never had a problem with it.
I think Mike Hancock just was so used to having a secretary do everything for him that he didn't want to learn anything if he didn't have to. So that was it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, do you remember I tried circulating the minutes as a link to Dropbox, and it was like, he was on the phone to me, I can't work it, I don't understand. Like, okay.
Well, I mean, I still think that's what you should do, because if you put them into Dropbox, then you've done half the work, haven't you? You've got to do that anyway to record them. So why don't you just share a link to the folder? I mean, I would go back to that if I was you. I mean, it's
I'll give it a go. Yeah, I mean, exactly. I think this mic is much more sort of tuned into.
I mean, the other thing you can do, of course, is that committee papers. I mean, this isn't that big. So what you could actually do here, if you wanted to make it even easier for yourself, now you're back into it, is you can share this with yourself. Well, no, you can't, because it's too. This is the problem. Once you get into a folder that isn't shared, you can't share the folder. That's why you have to have them fairly near the top. So you don't want to share all the documentation, but I mean, you could. Well, I mean, you could create a top level thing with all the committee papers in, but that would be in the wrong place in the hierarchy. That's the trouble.
I'll probably have to kind of, well, maybe things will develop a little bit, but at the moment I'm quite happy. It's not a huge amount of documentation for the papers and stuff, really, and I've just got them all in a folder on my desktop, basically.
So you just upload them, don't you?
Yeah, I just upload them as I need them. I've got them on my laptop, and then that's all backed up as well. So. Because of course Mac does iCloud and it backs everything up anyway. So so it kind of works. I mean, I'm not really, I mean, it's a bit of an irony that I've agreed to be secretary, because this is just exactly all the stuff I kept well away from in my working life. But you know, I've worked in the NHS, so there's a whole history of governance and you know, documentation is pretty important. So at least I understand the fundamental principles behind it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, right, well, great.
Okay, brilliant, Jeff. Thank you very much.
If you have any problems, you know what to do. So
yes. Okay.
right,
I will.
Right, I'll stop sharing and
Okay, brilliant.
I'll end it. Okay, cheers.
See you soon. Cheers.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
bye.